Hello everyone, how are you today? Welcome to Violin from Scratch. And today we'll be talking about the violin and its parts. Obviously this video is made for beginners, right? The advanced students and professional violinists know about this. They're able to do certain things like to switch the string, like I don't know, if the chin rest is moving, to fix that, to put it at the original position, the tailpiece, the fine tuner. All of this we'll be talking today, the way you understand how every single part on the violin works. Right, so here we have our victim for today will be this violin. It's 4/4, no brand. Violin, full size, right? It's perfectly playable right now. So it's perfectly playable, and the thing is that we're going to disassemble it and we'll put it back exactly at the same condition it is right now. Let's go. Okay guys, so let's start. What I did, I disassembled the violin completely. So not completely, right? The main body remains exactly as the violin maker made it. Here we have it, right? But I put all the pieces that go on the violin apart the way we can talk separately about each one of them and to understand how they work. Let's do a quick overview. We have the main body of the violin here. We have the strings, we have 4 strings, right? Then we have the bridge. This piece here, it's a sound post. It goes inside the violin. We usually don't touch this piece, right? Sometimes it falls down. It's a violin maker who should put it back. Here we have the bottom. Here we have 4 pegs for each one of the strings. This is the tail piece. And finally, this is the chin rest. Okay, so let's start. Here we go. So the first piece we're going to talk about today is this one. It's called the sound post. And the sound post is the simple wooden stick we can see here. This one comes from another violin. I just wanted to show it. But if we look through the F hole, we can see this violin sound post right inside. There it is. There is no any glue. It goes just under the pressure in between of the plates. It has 2 functions. The first one is to support the physical pressure, to distribute the physical pressure in between of the plates. The pressure comes from the tension of the strings and the bridge. This way the top plate doesn't collapse, right? And the main function is to amplify the sound of the instrument. So the sound post transmits the vibration from the top plate to the bottom plate, right here, right? So they vibrate together and the sound becomes way bigger, way louder, right? Now, what is the common trouble that we could have with the sound post? As there is no glue, sometimes it falls down. It's not a common thing, but it could happen. If it happens, the violin becomes way less loud, the sound is way smaller, and we hear something moving inside the body of the violin. So usually it's the sound post. This is basically the only thing that could fall down inside the violin. We do require the help of a professional. I don't recommend to introduce something through the F-holes. They have a special tool to put the sound post back. It's very cheap. It's about $5-10 in a store, and it takes 5-10 minutes, right? So I do recommend to go to a store to get it fixed and not to do it yourself unless you know very well what you do. The next piece we'll be talking about is this one. Here it is. And this is the bottom. So what the bottom does, it goes here inside this hole in the main body of the violin. There is no glue either. It's just, it goes under pressure. We put it there, and there it is. What it does, it supports the next piece called the tailpiece. This is the tailpiece, right? This one comes with 4 fine tuners that are already part of the tailpiece. Here we have 2 nuts. Maybe we can adjust, usually we don't do that, but maybe we can adjust the length of this part, but usually we just put it as it comes. So this part of the tailpiece goes engaged on the bottom this way, right? There we go. This is it. Then the string, let's grab one string. We engage it from any fine tuner. So obviously this is the G fine tuner, G, D, A, E, right? And we put the right string. Then it goes here, and finally on the over extreme, the string goes to the peg, and we'll talk about the pegs right now. Let's talk about the pegs and the fine tuner. So this part of the violin is called the peg, right? It has a small hole. We'll explain what it's all about. So the pegs, we'll use it to tune the violin. Basically, we'll enroll the strings on it, the way we add tension. And major tension means the string vibrates faster and we perceive it as a higher sound. So the pegs they go inside the violin, 2 on the left side, this way. Part of the peg is outside. It comes out on the other side. Here, 1, 2. I think this one is from here. Yeah, exactly. This one is from here, right? And 2 on the right side on the violin, right? So the string will be engaged there. We have 4 strings. On the left we have, the order is always the same, is the G on the bottom of the left side, D on the top, A on the top of the right side, E on the bottom part of the right side, right? Now, let's see what the peg does outside. So, what will happen is, we'll grab a string, we'll grab a peg, that will happen inside the peg box. You will see it when we put this is the peg box. That would happen once we put the strings back, right? But now, let's just explain how it works. So I have this extreme of the string that I will be inserting here in the hole it has, the way it goes through the body of the peg. And then I basically will start using it as a screw, enrolling the string this way. One more time. Bigger tension, higher sound, okay? Now, this will be used for the major adjustments. The pegs, we use them for major adjustments, right? Now, what about the minor adjustments? Here we have the piece called the fine tuner, right? As we talked about before, this tailpiece comes with 4 fine tuners that are already part of the tailpiece, but many times we have a tailpiece like this that comes with nothing, and it's very recommended to put the fine tuners if you're a beginner on all the strings. That will make the tuning way easier. If you're a professional, we usually use 2 or 1 on E, or 1 on E and A string. Usually G and D, we tune it with the pegs. So what is the fine tuner? It has 3 pieces. It goes here, we insert it through one of the holes of the tailpiece, and then we have this nut, right, that I will put right here. and this one will get the fine tuner at the place, right? Then I have this screw. It's a simple screw that goes inside this hole. It has a thread inside, so I start moving to the right. It advances until it appears on the other side. So what it does, the same as the pegs, just in a small scale. I'm still moving this screw, and this part is coming closer, so it adds tension. If I need to go higher, I will go to the right. If I need to go lower, I will go to the left. So this one moves like this, and the string goes engaged from the fine tuner on this part, like this. Okay, so here I go to the right, it comes closer, the tension is bigger. Here I go to the left, and the tension is less. So major tension, higher sound, less tension, lower sound. This is the base how we tune the violin. We'll see in another video. Very well. So the next piece we'll be talking about is the bridge. But before we go with the bridge, I will have to put back, let's say, a couple of strings. So let's do the E string and the G string, the way we can show how the bridge works. Now, how do I know which string I'm putting here, right? So usually the strings, here we have the 4 strings. This one is green, it's an E in this case. This one is red, the extremes, right? There are different colors. So usually when we buy the strings on the package, we have specified which color is which string, right? So the E is very easy to recognize as the thinner one. So what I'm going to do, as we did before with the peg, this is the place of the E string, right? So I'll be inserting the extreme of the E string inside this hole of the E peg, right? There it is. Then I'll push it against this wall of the peg box, and I'll start enrolling it like this, right? Sometimes it comes back, so we need to repeat the procedure, but we'll be very careful. And we'll still enrolling the string like this. Now, we'll go to the other side. As we've said, we have the bottom here. We'll put it there. We'll grab the tail piece, right? We will engage it from the bottom right here. Then I have the string already here, and I will insert this part of the string on the E string, the extreme right. Right, I'm still holding the string here, and I continue enrolling the string like this with my peg. I continue enrolling until I get certain tension the way the tail piece stays there. So this is it, right? The bottom is here, the tail piece is engaged to the bottom. Then we have the first string engaged on this extreme on the fine tuner and on the other extreme with the peg. Now I'll do exactly the same thing with the G string, right? So I'll go with this extreme. Yeah, this one is a bit disenrolled, so let's try to do it carefully here. I'll insert the G string extreme right here. Okay. Sometimes it's a bit the most with the used strings. When they are not used, it's way easier. But now we'll insert and we'll push. Yeah, there we go. Well, there's a bit of pressure. The weight goes through. Did it go through? Not yet. So I'll insert it right there until it stays. Yes. There we go. The extreme is on the other side. Here we can see the extreme is on the other side. Let's push it a bit more. Yeah, and then we'll start. I'll hold the string towards this wall of the peg box, and I will start enrolling exactly the same I did with the other one, with the E string, right? There we go. Here we can see it's already enrolled here, right? Then I will engage the over extreme on the fine tuner on the G. This is right here, this way. I'm still grabbing here the way I have certain tension, and then I still enroll with the peg. There we go. Here we have certain tension, and the E string went down, doesn't matter. We'll add a bit of tension here, the way it remains at its place. There we go. Okay, so we have these two strings, but we still have no bridge, right? So, okay, come on, stay there. It's okay, doesn't matter. So, here's the bridge. The bridge has this shape. We could think that the bridge is symmetric, and it's not. It's a bit shorter here on the left. It's a bit longer than on the right. So the shorter side of the bridge will go towards the E string. The higher side will go towards the G, right? Here we already have 1, 2, 3, 4 marks for the strings. Sometimes they don't come like this. It just happens with the pressure of the strings. But as we disassemble this one, we already know where to put the strings, right? So the bridge doesn't go with any glue. It's just the pressure that makes the bridge stay at the place. Now, where we put the bridge, we have these small marks here, and that indicates where the bridge will go. So what I do, I grab the bridge, my shoulder size is looking towards the E string. I put it here. I put the strings. If I can't stand it up, the tension is too much, I will lose a bit. We'll loosen a bit my strings, just a bit, right? And then I'll put the bridge this way. I'll put the G string here. I'll put the E string at the place it goes. This plastic usually comes on this violin, it comes on all the strings, but usually it comes on the E and sometimes on A. It prevents that the string goes inside the wood. So I'll put it kind of this way, close to the extreme, the way it doesn't go and doesn't cut the bridge. So as you can see, what we're looking for, the bridge has to be straight, right? And it goes exactly where we have this mark, this insertion here, right? So let's get it close, let's straighten it. And basically, this is it. What we have to care about, that the bridge is always straight. Because if it goes on the side, sometimes it does, we need to move. Yeah, so here we can see the bridge is, or should be, now it's a bit on the left. It should be exactly 90 degrees, okay? So this is it, the bridge is at its place right now. Let me double check. And I will proceed to do exactly the same thing I did with the overstrings, with the D and the A string, okay? There we go. So I did exactly the same procedure with the D string and the A string, right? And here we have the 4 strings exactly at the place. So we're talking about the bridge, right? So let's take a look, right? The bridge is now, sorry, the angle is not very, it doesn't help. Let me grab the phone. Yeah, so as we can see now, the bridge is aligned with these marks, right? And the bridge is 90 degrees, right? It's completely perpendicular to the top plate. This is exactly how the bridge goes. Here, all the strings are engaged in the fine tuners, right? And here the strings are exactly in the middle and symmetric on the fingerboard, the way we can play and put the fingers on it, right? This is it. The bottom, the tailpiece, the bridge, the strings, and the picks. We're missing something. What do we miss? The chin rest. Okay, here we go, the chin rest. Very well. So the last piece we'll be talking about today is this one. It's a chin rest, right? Very different types. This one, for example, goes, this part goes on the top of the tailpiece, like this, right? We'll put it in a bit, right? There are another type that is just this part, and it has this part here. There is another one that goes in the middle, so there are several types. So just to understand how it works, here we have this knot that when I go to the left opens both sides, right? Here and here, and makes this space bigger. When I go to the right, it closes, and this is the way it goes on the violin, right? So we have pieces of cork right here. This make it softer, the way it doesn't hurt the body of the violin. It should have also this, or like a foam or something on this part. This one doesn't have it. I'll put it back just to show you how it goes, but it's good we have something soft here, like just not to hurt the violin body, right? So what I will do, I'll grab the violin, I'll put this, let's open the space, right? Then we'll put it this way, it goes on the top of the tailpiece. We'll care about that the chin rest is not touching the tailpiece, because we could eventually have weird noises. And then I'll grab a small screwdriver, a big needle, or even a clip. I will insert it here, and I will start closing it this way, little by little. Let's do it with our hand first to get as close as we can. That's it. There we go. Here we go as well. We do the same. It's still moving a bit, but we're getting closer. So now I will insert the screwdriver right here, and I'll be softly moving here to the right, right? On this side and on this side. Be careful not to go very inside, because we can scratch the violin. We don't want that, right? This is it. And when I feel, this is it. Here the thing is not to go too far, because we don't want, this is finally metallic part, and it's a screw, so it's strong. If we go too far, we can eventually crush this part. So what I need the place where the chin rest stays at the place, but no beyond, right? When you have this cork on both sides, in this case, as we've said, it just has on one, right? So there, let's do it a bit more, right? Here we go. See the hole? Yeah, there it is. So I'll move it a bit more, just a bit, and a bit on this side. So do it very carefully, the way we don't smash the body of the violin. And this is it. This is how the chin rests. Sorry about that. I'll grab the phone. This is how the chin rest goes on the violin. Sometimes it's very, very common that these parts are getting loose. So the only thing we need to do, we don't need to go to the store, we just need to grab a small screwdriver or a needle or even a metallic clip and to adjust a bit here to the right. This is it. Okay, so it looks like all the pieces on our violin are back at their places, right? The bridge is straight, maybe a bit on the left, but now we'll be adjusting the strings, we'll be tuning the violin, and we'll put it a bit, we'll correct that position, okay? So I'll tune the violin by ear right now. We'll make another video how to tune it for beginners, how to tune it with the help of an electronic tuner, right? So far I'll just do it quickly. The important thing here, major adjustment we said will be with pegs, right? So when I move the peg forward, it's not just the forward movement, it's like a screw movement. At the same time, I go forward and inside. If I go just forward many times, the peg comes back, okay? So before we go, let's put also the fine tuners to the limit position. Right, so I'll take out the screw basically to all it can go. Why? Because the strings usually go lower, not higher. In any humidity condition or something, they could go higher, but usually they go lower, right? So I put them at the limit, at the high limit, the way I can use it, whatever I need, right? So let's go. Let's go first with the A. Here we go to the A, perfect, E. Just move the peg forward and double check, right? In case we'll get with the tuner. Okay, this is like a D, E flat. We're getting closer to the E. Okay, A came back, we need to correct. Good. Very good. Now we'll double check the bridge, because as we removed all the strings, as I'm pulling all of them, the bridge could come to the left side, seen from here. It's coming a bit, so I will correct that. I'll straighten it a bit, and we'll put it at the position of the 90 degrees. A bit more. There we go. So here we have a bit more here. That's it. Good. So we have the E, A. Let's proceed with the D. Same movement forward. Close to D. The G is completely loosened, so let's go for. It was a bit too high. And the rest are coming down. It's completely normal as well. So once we did it once, we double check all the strings, because usually when we move one, the other could be moving as well, right? This is what happens in this case. Let's adjust a bit the E, almost there. Very good. Now, let's put the shoulder rest on. This is the piece we used to play, we'll talk in another video. And this is not exactly the part of the violin, right? It helps us to get the right posture. Let's grab a bow and let's go with the fine tuners. adjusted the A. Let's go with the E. Now it's a bit low. So I move the fine tuner to the right, right? The D is a bit low. I move this fine tuner to the right. The G is very low. And we double check again. Well, our today's mission is completed. The violin is here as it was before. I hope you learned something. There is no better way than understanding how things work. When we have the idea how things work, we can spot a trouble in case. If we're able to fix it, we can fix it. If we're not, we can go to the store. But we can have an idea where the trouble is, right? We tune the violin, now it's good to be played, it's good to practice. Never ever, please, play on the violin that's not in tune, more if you're a beginner. Obviously, an advanced student will know why. We'll make a video about that, right? But always tune your violin before. If you don't, you're just wasting your time. Now that we're ready, we can do the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Or the Witch's Dance. Or your Paganini concerto. See you next time.